In today's world, customers expect their goods to be delivered on time and in full, no matter what. But process inefficiencies get in the way. And without knowing what these are, where they happen, and how to fix them, achieving customers' expectations is almost impossible. Celonis Execution Management Platform applies real-time process intelligence to the data in your systems to find inefficiencies and drive automated actions to fix them, powered by data and intelligence. Here's how it works for the accounts receivable process. Let's jump into the role of our head of accounts receivable, Tom. Here, Celonis tracks the company's performance across 1.17 million invoices and across $2.8 billion invoice value, giving Tom a real-time overview on how accounts receivable is doing in the areas he cares about most. Each area is measured with a key metric, for example days sales outstanding, DSO, for collections, which is worrying for Tom as it is trending upwards. DSO is the average number of days it takes a company to receive payments from goods or services sold to customers. Higher DSO leads to worse performance concerning collections management, since it takes more days to receive invoice payments. Taking into consideration past performance and best-in-class benchmarks, Celonis estimates a savings potential of $9.4 million here. Hence, Tom directs his analyst, Eleonora, to take a closer look. Our analyst, Eleonora, investigates the accounts receivable process to find the root cause of our low DSO. To analyze the process, Celonis extracts digital footprints in real time from the source systems to render a full digital twin of the accounts receivable process. With this X-ray of our process, we can track invoices from the creation of the invoice to the invoice being cleared. However, these are only the most common process steps. When focusing on the deviations from the common path, we can spot a variance where we record the past due date before the clearing of the invoice. This variation happens in 40% of the cases and indicates that our customer has not paid the invoice in time. As we continue to increase our view to include every path an invoice could take, we see an ocean of inefficiency emerge. This is the true complexity of how most global businesses run, caused by a rigid and fragmented IT landscape. But how can we make sense of this complexity? Leveraging our data and artificial intelligence, Celonis identifies inefficiencies automatically and in real time. We need to focus our attention on the variant where invoices are cleared after the due date. In these cases, the customers miss the set due date and therefore we receive their payments too late. This might sound like simply dunning tasks, but considering late invoices occur more than 490,000 times, it is a massive effort that strongly impacts our days sales outstanding by 26%, as Celonis informs us in our inefficiency overview. To start realizing this potential, Celonis suggests we send intelligent reminders before the discount due date is even reached. But let's take it one level deeper, to really understand how Celonis knows this. On the left, we can see how late payments lead to the financial impact of $578 million. This immediate realization potential indicates what cash value we could free up in the first year after implementing Celonis. We can see how the affected invoices are distributed based on the average days late. These late payments not only negatively affect our cash collection, but they also increase DSO since it takes longer to clear the invoice. The invoices that are delayed by up to 7 days are at the top of the list. However, their impact is limited, and most of the working capital impact is driven by payments that are paid between 15 and 21 days late. Analyzing late payments in more detail, Eleonora discovers that 11.2 days is the average for late payments. Still, some customers stand out in a particularly negative way by paying even later, impacting the working capital enormously. For example, if NS Comp is paying late, it takes about 12 days to clear the invoice, having a total impact of $1 million. We just went from the highest level business objective, optimizing collections, to finding the lowest level inefficiency in only a couple of clicks. This is exactly what makes the EMS so powerful. But Eleonora shouldn't have to do an exhaustive search of everywhere that the goods are received after invoices, or be monitoring for future ones. And she doesn't have to. That's where Celonis action flows come in. This action flow analyzes outgoing invoices in real time and evaluates the customer's payment behavior. It then filters on those with low paid on-time rates and where the due date has not passed yet. We then route these invoices depending on the value of the invoice. If it is a low-value invoice, we will send a dunning to the customer, which could be by email, SMS, WhatsApp, or any other communication application. If it is a high-value invoice, a workflow is triggered for our human-in-the-loop, the invoice handler, to review the information and update the ServiceNow invoice record. With this smart business logic, employees can focus on activities where their attention is really required, high-value invoices with bad payment behavior, so the AR expert and decision-maker can take the best action possible. Together, this eliminates unnecessary and low-priority dunnings for the entire department, improving our DSO, productivity and cash collection. Anyone can build such end-to-end orchestrations with action flows. We have over 1,000 pre-built connectors, and it's a simple drag-and-drop exercise to quickly define the logic. In fact, many clients want to leverage their existing RPA investments like automation anywhere, which we support. Having intelligently automated most potential late payments and correcting customer behavior, let's see how our operational staff is working on the ones where they need to make a decision. Robert, our collection specialist, logs into Celonis and sees a task inbox where all relevant tasks are collected. In the past, Robert's work queue looked like everyone else's, a combination of FIFO and fire drills. Now, Robert is presented with a prioritized list of items that require his attention. So Robert's expertise is needed, and when selecting one task, like this request to inform the customer of late payments, Celonis provides him with all necessary context to take action based on his knowledge and experience with just one click, right in Celonis. He can either call the customer, send a payment reminder email, or request additional sales support for further escalations or special customers. Through this radical prioritization, Robert can guarantee that he is reliably performing his work in pursuit of the organization's goals. So let's recap. We have seen how Tom, our head of accounts receivable, has an end-to-end real-time overview of his DSO performance. Next, Eleonora discovered root causes like late payments and set up an action flow to tackle this inefficiency in the future. Finally, we saw how Robert always works on the most relevant tasks to get our DSO back on track. Let's fast forward 3 months. As Tom can see, we were able to really impact DSO. We have been able to realize $1.7 million in savings, and we have now reached and surpassed the initial DSO target of 30 days. The Celonis EMS helped Tom drive operational excellence by acting as a transformation platform that uncovers inefficiencies in real time and acts upon them through automation.